Most people think fitness is just about lifting weights or looking good in the mirror. But what if I told you that being fit changes everything? Your confidence, your focus, your performance at work, in your relationships, even in the most private parts of your life. Fitness is not just a body transformation, it's a life transformation. When you take care of your body takes care of you. Everywhere. Fit. Men don't just perform better in the gym, they perform better in life. Today, I want to show you why. Discipline is the foundation upon which every success story is built, and fitness is one of the most powerful teachers of discipline because it demands consistency, resilience, and the ability to push beyond comfort. Every time you wake up early to work out instead of hitting snooze. Every time you choose a healthier meal over a quick indulgence. Every time you commit to showing up for yourself in the gym, even when you don't feel like it, you are building an inner framework of discipline that extends far beyond the physical act itself. What begins as a choice to train your body becomes the seed of training your mind. And the seed grows into habits that define how you show up in every other area of your life. Fitness forces you to confront resistance daily, whether that resistance is the weight on the barbell, the burn in your muscles, or the temptation to quit halfway through. And overcoming that resistance teaches you that progress does not come from convenience, but from commitment. So when you're taking care of yourself, when a man commits himself to fitness, he is unknowingly teaching himself how to master time, energy, and focus. The discipline to train regularly, to measure progress, to stay patient with the slow but steady results becomes the same discipline that fuels his career, his business, his relationships. A man who can keep showing up for his health despite excuses is a man who can keep showing up for his family despite stress, for his work despite obstacles, and for his goals despite setbacks. The lessons learned under the weight of physical training translate into a deeper ability to shoulder the weights of responsibility, leadership, and ambition. Fitness creates structure, and structure breeds success. Without structure, potential is wasted, but with discipline, potential is transformed into achievement. Think about how fitness reprograms the mind. In the gym, results never come overnight. You cannot lift a weight once and expect transformation. You cannot eat clean for a single week and expect lifelong vitality. Fitness teaches the reality of delayed gratification, and delayed gratification is one of the most valuable lessons a man can ever master. The world constantly pulls men toward shortcuts, instant pleasures, and quick rewards, but a man who is trained his body understands that real rewards take time, persistence, and sacrifice. He becomes less vulnerable to distraction, less tempted by immediate gratification, and more focused on the long-term vision. This mental training, born out of physical discipline, is what separates men who give up easily from men who create legacies. In fitness, you learn that quitting today only means staying stuck tomorrow, and pushing through today means building a stronger tomorrow. That same mindset applies when you are chasing financial goals, building relationships, or striving to be a leader. Fitness is not just the practice of training muscles, it is the practice of training persistence. Discipline built through fitness also reshapes identity. A man begins to see himself differently when he honors his commitments to his body. He no longer identifies as someone who's weak, lazy, or inconsistent. Instead, he becomes a man who follows through, a man who can rely on himself, a man who lives by action, not excuses. This shift in self-impeak creates confidence that others can feel. When a man speaks, people listen differently because his words are backed by action. When he enters a room, his presence carries weight because his discipline is visible, not only in his physique, but in the way he carries himself. Discipline in fitness shapes the posture of discipline in life. And this is why fit men often perform better everywhere. They have built themselves into men of reliability, men of consistency, men of strength, both inside and out. The discipline learned in fitness doesn't just remain with the man, it inspires those around him. A disciplined man becomes a role model for his children, showing them that hard work matters. He becomes an inspiration to his friends, proving that growth is possible. He becomes more valuable in his career, demonstrating reliability and consistency that others trust. Fitness becomes more than personal, it becomes a ripple effect of influence. A disciplined man does not need to preach about discipline. His lifestyle preaches louder than his his words. He inspires others to rise, to become more consistent, to take control of their health and their lives. This ripple is why societies have always admired strong and disciplined men, not because of their muscles, but because of the message those muscles represent: self-restraint, perseverance, and strength of character. And this is why fitness is far more than a personal pursuit of aesthetics or vanity. Every rep, every workout, every disciplined choice is training a man to master himself. Self-mastery is the ultimate power, because a man who has mastered himself cannot be easily defeated by the challenges outside of him. Fitness trains patience, persistence, and consistency, and these are the same principles that drive excellence in business, in leadership, and in personal growth. Without discipline, talent goes wasted, opportunities slip away, and potential fades. With discipline, even average men become extraordinary because they have mastered the art of showing up again and again, no matter how they feel. This is why discipline built through fitness becomes the cornerstone of success everywhere else in life. A strong body is more than just a reflection in the mirror. It is a living engine that fuels everything a man does. Strength and fitness are not limited to lifting heavier weights or running faster miles. They shape the way the brain functions, the energy levels that carry you through the day, and the confidence that defines how you interact with the world. When your body is strong, your mind becomes sharper, your focus becomes clearer, and your ability to push through obstacles increases dramatically. The physical and the mental are not separate worlds. They are deeply interconnected, and fitness is the bridge that unites them. When men neglect their physical health, they are not just weakening their bodies, they are dueling their minds, draining their energy, and dimming their confidence. On the other hand, when men commit to building a strong body, they are also building the foundation for stronger decision-making, sharper performance, and higher confidence in every area of life. Think about what happens at the biological level when a man trains consistently. Exercise floods the brain with oxygen, increases blood flow, and releases powerful neurotransmitters like dopamine, serotonin, and endorphin. These chemicals elevate mood, sharpen concentration, and reduce stress. A fit body literally changes the chemistry of the brain to function at a higher level. That means when you are sitting in a meeting, working on a complex project, or facing a stressful decision, your mind is sharper and more resilient because your body is trained to handle stress. The man who trains his body is also training his brain to operate with clarity under pressure. He does not break down as easily under challenges because his body and mind are conditioned to endure and adapt. Fitness makes resilience a natural state, and resilience is the backbone of peak performance. Energy is another dimension where a strong body changes everything. When men are unfit, they often struggle with fatigue, brain fog, and lack of motivation. They drag themselves through the day relying on caffeine and shortcuts to keep going. But a man who trains regularly builds an energy reserve that carries him beyond the average. His cardiovascular health improves, his muscles store more endurance, his metabolism becomes more efficient, and his sleep becomes deeper. As a result, he wakes up with energy, moves through the day with vitality, and finishes tasks without the exhaustion that crushes others. Energy is a form of currency, and the man with more energy has more to invest into his work, his passions, his family, and his goals. Fitness creates that surplus of energy, and with it comes the power to outperform in every arena. Confidence is perhaps the most visible and immediate effect of a strong body. When a man looks after himself, he carries himself differently. His posture changes, his eye contact becomes stronger, and his voice carries more authority. Confidence is not arrogance. It is the quiet assurance that you are capable, that you can handle challenges, that you can rely on yourself. This assurance radiates in every interaction, from a job interview to a first date to a difficult conversation with a business partner. People respond differently to a confident man because confidence signals competence and strength. And that confidence is not built from empty affirmations. It is earned through sweat, discipline, and the daily proof that you can set a goal, struggle through it, and achieve it. A strong body reminds a man of his own capability every time he looks in the mirror, and that reminder fuels the confidence he carries everywhere else. Focus 2 is sharpened by physical training. In the gym, you learn how to block out distractions, to channel all attention on the weight in your hands or the movement of your body. This mental training transfers into every other area of life. The man who can maintain focus through pain, through fatigue, and through repetition is the man who can maintain focus on long-term goals despite setbacks. Physical strength teaches mental strength, and mental strength fuels focus. A man who has sharpened his focus through fitness is better able to sit down and finish the project others procrastinate on, to study longer, to endure pressure without crumbling, and to keep his eyes on the vision when others give in to distraction. Focus is a superpower in a world full of noise, and fitness is one of the most reliable ways to train it. Beyond biology and mindset, a strong body creates a sense of momentum in life. When you make progress in the gym, that progress often carries over into other areas. You start eating better, not just for your workouts, but for your daily health. You start managing your time better because you want to make space for training. You start setting goals in your career or personal life with the same mentality you bring to fitness. This momentum builds a lifestyle of growth, and growth in one area fuels growth everywhere. The discipline to train your body regularly sets off a chain reaction that strengthens your willpower, your productivity, and your hunger for achievement. A man who trains his body is often surprised by how many other parts of his life improve without him even forcing them. Performance in relationships also benefits from a strong body. Confidence makes communication stronger, energy makes presence more meaningful, and focus makes listening deeper. A man who feels good in his body shows up differently for his partner, his family, his friends. He has more patience, more strength to give, more presence to offer. Strength and fitness also build intimacy, not just physically, but emotionally, because confidence and vitality create attraction and connection. A man who neglects his health often struggles with low self-esteem, which strains his relationships, but a man who invests in his health brings his best self to the people he loves. A strong body is not just for personal gain, it is for the betterment of everyone connected to that man. In the professional world, the impact of a strong body is equally profound. Employers, clients, and colleagues often associate physical discipline with reliability and strength. A man who is visibly fit is unconsciously seen as more capable, more dedicated, and more trustworthy. This perception opens doors, but beyond perception, the actual benefits of higher energy, sharper focus, and stronger confidence make a man perform at a higher level in his career. You endure longer hours, manage stress more effectively, and lead with greater authority. In competitive environments where small differences create big opportunities, the extra energy and focus from fitness can be the deciding factor between mediocrity and excellence. Fitness also protects against one of the biggest enemies of performance, stress. Life throws pressure at every man, and without a strong body, that stress crushes him. Cortisol levels rise, sleep suffers, decision-making weakens, and confidence drops. But a man who trains his body uses exercise as a release valve for stress. Every workout burns off tension, resets the mind, and builds resilience. He does not escape stress, he transforms it. This ability to handle stress makes him more composed, more adaptable, and more reliable under pressure. In business, relationships, and leadership, the man who can remain calm and composed under stress is the man others depend on. That composure is a byproduct of the strength and resilience built through fitness. The connection between a strong body and a strong mind cannot be overstated. History is filled with examples of warriors, leaders, and thinkers who valued physical training not just for survival, but for sharpening their minds and spirits. They understood that the body is the vessel through which all ambitions are carried out, and the stronger the vessel, the greater the capacity to fulfill those ambitions. A weak body limits a strong mind, but a strong body unleashes the full potential of a strong mind. Men who realize this truth stop seeing fitness as optional. They see it as essential for achieving greatness in every dimension of life. Physical health is the silent foundation of performance, the invisible force that determines how far a man can go in his work, in his relationships, and even in the most intimate parts of his life. Most men underestimate the role of health until it starts to fail, and by then the cost has already become clear. But when a man invests in his physical health early and consistently, he gains an advantage that cannot be faked or borrowed. Strong health is not only about avoiding disease, it is about building a body that performs at its its peak, that gives energy when others are tired, that gives clarity when others are foggy, that gives confidence when others are insecure. When your health is strong, you carry yourself differently, you think differently, you act differently. It becomes the difference between surviving and thriving, between holding on and pushing forward, between being average and being exceptional. Work performance is one of the first areas where physical health reveals its power. A man who is healthy does not wake up dragging himself out of bed, reaching for stimulants just to function. He wakes up energized because his sleep is restorative, his body is recovered, and his system is functioning efficiently. His immune system is stronger, which means fewer sick days, fewer interruptions, and more consistency in his work output. Health sharpens mental acuity. A man with strong circulation, oxygen flow, and balanced hormones is able to think quicker, solve problems faster, and maintain concentration longer. In today's world, where focus is a rare commodity, a healthy body becomes an unfair advantage. When two men of equal skill compete, the one with better health will always outperform because his energy, clarity, and endurance give him the edge. Physical health is not just personal, it directly influences professional excellence. Relationships also thrive when health is prioritized. Energy allows a man to show up fully for his family, his friends, and his partner. When he is exhausted, irritable, or weighed down by poor health, he cannot give his best to those he loves. But when his body is strong and his energy abundant, he can be present, attentive, and supportive. Confidence rooted in health strengthens communication because a man who feels good in his body carries assurance in his words and act, becomes a source of stability and strength for the people around him. Health also creates patience and emotional regulation because exercise and fitness help manage stress hormones and mental balance. Instead of reacting with frustration or detachment, a healthy man responds with calmness and clarity. In intimacy, health becomes even more important. Blood flow, stamina, and vitality are direct reflections of a man's physical condition. A man who trains his body and cares for his health naturally enhances his performance in private life, making intimacy not just more fulfilling, but also more sustainable across the years. In this way, health supports not only longevity in relationships, but also depth and quality. Even beyond personal and professional life, health determines how much a man can pursue his passions. Dreams require energy, and without health, ambition collapses under fatigue. A man may have vision, intelligence, and creativity, but if his body cannot support long hours of work, travel, or responsibility, those dreams will shrink to fit the limitations of his health. Conversely, when a man is healthy, he has the stamina to keep going when others stop. He has the resilience to handle pressure, the endurance to work longer, and the vitality to keep chasing goals without burning out. This is why health must be seen as an investment rather than a luxury. Every hour spent training, every decision to eat better, every effort to sleep well pays back with more years of strong performance, more moments of clarity, more opportunities to experience life fully. Neglecting health is like neglecting the fuel of an engine, and sooner or later, the cost becomes unavoidable. Confidence is deeply tied to health because a man who knows he has taken care of his body carries a different presence. This presence cannot be faked with clothes, cars, or status. It is an inner assurance that comes from knowing you have honored yourself. Confidence rooted in health is not loud or arrogant. It is quiet and unshakable. It shows in the way a man walks, the way he interacts, the way he handles challenges. Others notice it because it is rare and it commands respect. In competitive spaces, whether in business or in social life, this confidence often becomes the deciding factor in who is trusted, who is followed, and who is chosen. And at the root of this confidence is health. The way a man feels in his own skin, the strength he has built, the vitality he radiates. Health also enhances resilience against stress, and stress is one of the most destructive forces men face. Chronic stress destroys focus, ruins sleep, damages relationships, and weakens the body. But fitness and health create a buffer against it. A man who trains regularly, processes stress through movement, uses exercise as an outlet, and benefits from the hormonal balance that physical activity creates. His body produces less cortisol, his mind recovers faster, and his emotions remain more stable. This resilience allows him to handle pressure in ways that others cannot. When everyone else breaks under the weight of deadlines, responsibilities, or crises, the man with health remains calm, collected, and effective. His ability to regulate himself is not luck, it is the product of physical health supporting mental health. And in life, the man who can remain steady under pressure is the man who rises to leadership and earns trust. There is also a profound spiritual and psychological dimension to health. When a man takes care of his body, he is demonstrating self-respect. He is saying to himself and to the world that he values his life, his time, and his purpose enough to care for the vessel that carries it all. Neglecting health often signals deeper neglect of self-worth, while investing in health strengthens identity and purpose. A healthy man feels aligned, grounded, and more connected to his goals. He is less distracted by pain, fatigue, or insecurity, and more focused on contribution, growth, and service. Health becomes the silent partner in his success, the invisible strength behind every achievement. It is not always celebrated, but it is always noticed in the results it produces. Over the years, men who ignore health eventually pay in ways they never expected. Missed opportunities, broken relationships, lowered performance, and diminished confidence all trace back to a body that was not cared for. On the other hand, men who prioritize health reap rewards that multiply over time. Their careers last longer, their relationships stay stronger, their passions burn brighter, and their lives hold more quality years. They do not merely survive, they thrive because health gave them the platform to stand on. This is why health is not just one piece of the puzzle, it is the foundation of the entire puzzle. Without it, nothing else fits properly. With it, everything else can be built stronger and higher.